in circles and rows of families. Right. They all died of a .22 long rifle behind the right ear. Mm-hmm. That was 3 MKULTRA shooters. I was one of those shooters, and that was to create the cover to bring down forces to Nicaragua. The great Jimmy Carter ordered that.
Wow. Okay, let me get this straight here. You were a shooter at Waco for the drug enforcement, or for who?
Well, the Delta Force personnel they brought in.
Okay. Okay. So you were in the military vehicles that were parked around Waco.
I was in the APC that was out front for a long time. Remember that one square armored personnel carrier that was out front forever?
Yeah. Yeah,
I was in that one.
I also remember seeing, I thought they were DEA agents jumping off the roof with
No, that was Delta Force. That was Delta Force operatives, and they were probably all mind control victims as well.
Okay, well, when they jumped off, the fire began. They took their helmets off, and they were high-fiving. Let me ask them.
The reason everybody was murdered at Waco is in 1990 there was a group in Toronto, Canada, that were all victims of Operation Monarch. Several hundred people got together with the help of a radio station. They were breaking free. They sued the Canadian government, the United States government, and the CIA, and won multiple millions. David Koresh and company were all victims of Monarch. They hide people like me and him and them in cults as religious nuts. I was in the Worldwide Church of God cult, and I was a religious nut at one time. David Koresh realized that they were all victims. He broke them free, and he was going to file suit in federal court. They would not be able to stop it because there were too many corroborating witnesses. That's why they were murdered, and that was ordered by Bill Clinton.
Were you involved with the Oklahoma City bombing?
No. I was the shooter at Ruby Ridge, though. It was not Lon Horiuchi. And his wife and the baby were an accident. I was aiming for Randy.
You shot the woman in between the eyes when she's holding the baby?
She was a very short woman. He had a 4-panel window on his door. And my orders were to take out Randy Weaver. I had a Remington M16 long rifle series 4. It was a 550-meter shot, which is a chip shot for that rifle. And so I picked a moving target firing configuration point on the crosshairs of the window, at the bottom of the window. The shot went about 2 inches to the right of the bottom crosshair. I didn't know she was behind the door. And then when they announced that Randy Weaver's wife, you just ate a bullet, we had pancakes and whatever, I dropped the weapon and I attempted to kill Major General Charles L. Neath. I had a nervous breakdown. But they gang tackled me and hypoed me out. She was an accident, and I did try to kill those that were responsible for being in charge, yes. And Major General Charles L. Neath, I'm under the understanding, and Dennis Pelley, they both have pancreatic cancer. They're in diapers.
You mentioned that earlier, Ugene, that you have some affinity for getting back at people to make sure that they have pancreatic cancer?
I've been asking God to do that, and they are. And God is.
So really, that is a telltale sign, because if those around you have that specific ailment, then you know that God is exacting judgment upon them?
Well, Joseph Koch, head of Worldwide Church of God, in 95 died of pancreatic cancer. Stanley Rader died of pancreatic cancer. A number of them died of pancreatic cancer that were connected with me prior to that, and I found out they were connected with me, and that's why I've been praying that the rest of these guys die of pancreatic cancer, and I just found out yesterday the head of the AMA is dying of pancreatic cancer. Patrick Swayze is dying of pancreatic cancer. And he did a lot of crap to my family, as I'm told. You see, when we had those Eyes Wide Shut sex parties, and they brought me in 1979 because they were losing too many women at strangulation sex at a mind control level to bounce these parties. Well, if anybody other than have sex with a girl, they're perverted sex as well, if they hurt a girl, I was to enforce, and they were lucky just to get a broken bone. I got such a reputation as being a martial arts badass that martial arts experts in the related fields of the perps, CIA, Jesuits, Illuminati, Mafia, if they wanted to prove who's the baddest in the world contest, they'd come in and they'd try me on. Then the party'd stop and everybody'd watch. And if they kept it to a fist fight, it was a fist fight. If they tried to hurt me, I put them in the hospital or killed them. Patrick Swayze I put in the hospital. Seagal tried me on in '89. He lasted 3 seconds. And somebody who looked like Chuck Norris, was always there, but he didn't want to find out. And Seagal, to back this up, Seagal hired a hitman to kill an LA Times reporter, I believe it was in 2000, when the LA Times reporter was reporting that he was CIA and Mafia. So Seagal hired this hitman, he got caught, he's in prison, and Seagal's out free. This is fact. Why he's not in prison, I don't know. Because it was in the LA Times, big stories.
Yeah. Well, you know, somebody's going to extrapolate from what you said, because you have said that you were at various well-publicized conflicts around the world, according to your testimony, and so you know this question is going to come up. Were you the shooter at the grassy knoll of JFK?
I was 6 years old. I don't think so. I was raised in a coven and 1 year into MKULTRA, but no, I was not the shooter there. You can rest assured of that.
Well, listen, I wouldn't put it past you, okay? I mean, coming from where you've been, I mean, at age 6, you're probably ripping heads off.
When I was a child during the race riots in Cincinnati,
yeah,
they would take me out with a .22 rifle and shoot riders in the butt. Okay, that was part of my training. Now in Claremont County, Ohio, from 71, I believe it was to 1980, there were mass murder of 30 women where they find their parts all over Claremont County, and it never made the national news. Why? Because Creel Helton was the one in charge of it. They did convict a guy of 8 of the murders, but the reason they covered it up, and in 2002, I tried to get an investigation going with Detective Bob Evans of Claremont County Sheriff's Department. I didn't use my real name. I used Ugene Culson. I only used a calling card, and it was squelched by the CIA. That can be proven. Go back and check the record. And they would murder these girls in front of me as part of my programming. I was heavily drugged. And Creel Helton would say, you got to have sex with her or we're going to kill her. And I would jump on the girl, fully clothed, and try to shield her body from them because they were going to cut her up. And naturally, because I was drugged, they pulled me off and they cut her up in front of me, part of my programming and traumatization.
Wow. These are some fantastic stories you're saying.
And Creel Helton moved to Arizona, and they should go to his house and dig up all around his house and see how many illegal aliens that he tortured and killed.
Really?
And I understand he's still alive.
Okay, were you?
He was the first man to go out in the Korean War with a knife all night long.
Really?
He was a major in the Rangers and CIA and a satanic priest when he started training me at age 5.
Okay, when these Satanists, when they have their satanic covens or their activities, did you ever see a manifestation of a demon or the devil?
I have seen some poltergeist activity. I have seen a few apparitions, but it wasn't at those things, to my memory. That's not to say it didn't happen. When they took my family away from me, I heard a noise on the roof, and I went outside, and there's over 1,000 crows on my roof.
Crows.
One day I woke up to the history of the Bewitched show blaring at the top of the TV. I don't know if somebody came in and turned it on or whatever. I have seen a couple of apparitions. To say exactly what they are, I don't know. But my brother told me that my youngest sister saw some evil 4-foot-tall black spirit in our home when she was a small child numerous times. And it would come out of this little nook up in their bedroom, little one of those corner closets in a bungalow-type home. But I remember when I was 9, I saw a black foot stick out of the back door of the garage into the garage and then retract itself. And I was thinking, what is this? There's no black people around here. This is back when there were black and white neighborhoods. There weren't mixed neighborhoods. So I went back there and I saw nothing.
Well, it sure freaked me out to see a foot coming out of there. Here's a question for you, and you know you got to answer this one. Where were you when 9/11 hit? You weren't flying one of those planes.
I wasn't part of that. No, that was from everything I've been told and I've investigated. That was Cell in the CIA and the Mossad. I believe Cheney and Bush Sr. was involved. Jr. didn't know yet, so he could give you